to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil.
I remember I was only 13 when I met the demon. Gave me a deuce and a bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell to my people, make sure you keep them fiending. If any try to show you, make sure that you leave them leaking. He said, I'ma hold you down when problems pop up. How you got me moving this dope? Want me in lockup? He said, don't you want the Benz vertible with the top up? Yeah. Stop, bitch, get in that kitchen, let it rock up. Bitches love the dope boy, especially when it's pop up. I know you know Ron. You the plug from by the block up? I'll tell you a little secret, make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Ron got a Lexus, crib in Philly and Texas. Trip to the Bahamas, just got a bit for his mama. He fucking up in commas, be honest, he seemed decent though. I hear you, but I just seen Ron about a week ago. Fact, he ain't looking too good, his knees is kinda slow. I asked him why the struggle, he got stuck up for his bundle. But them 6 hollow tips in his legs what made him crumble. He got the house and mama is living good. Said the feds took it all, he right back in the hood. I see you try to play me, you gave us crack in the 80s. Made us abort our babies and making hoes out our ladies. I know you got me gravy, but Satan, you must be crazy. It's gonna take more than them cars when to amaze me. I seen niggas shoot for the stars, but being lazy. Never get their head at the clouds, so you don't face me. I guarantee that you gon' regret it. Remember I said it. Nah, you could dead it. What you saying, I can't win? Nah, devil, nice try, so until we meet again.
I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Latham Shem Yahshua to the sisters. This is Priest and Officer Al-Haran from the ISUBK under Commanding General Yohana. We out of 1 West Harlem, New York. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. The topic for today's class is, you're right, God does know your heart. So today I want to talk about, especially how Christians always say, well, you show them that they're sinning, you try to correct them, try to correct your brother or your sister, give them some knowledge, and the only thing they really got to say about it is, God knows my heart. And he does know it. He knows that you're a sinner. And you're okay with being a sinner because the Christian pastor has taught you that sinning is okay as long as, you know, it's sad, you know, but we're going to start out with basically, and the reason I always talk about Christianity, because Christianity has a stronghold on our people. I mean, it got blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians in the full Nelson. You tell Christians something, it's like you talking to the damn wall. You can't correct them. They just want to be wicked, and they like to be sinners. They don't care that they're sinners, but because they think that all you got to do is say sorry on your deathbed. You know, you can cause hell your whole life, do whatever you want, and on your deathbed, say sorry, and the Lord's just going to forgive you, and that's it. And what's the point of anything then if that's all you got to do? We'd all be doing that. The Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to live our lives by, and he expects that. He don't expect anything less. It's a commandment. It ain't maybe or should I or, well, you know, and then you horn yourself out to all these other religions. You can't do that. We have a God. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives have a God. It ain't Buddha. It ain't a Chinese guy. It ain't Shiva. You know, with all the arms and the dreadlocks that we follow that. We think dreadlocks is a black culture because it says locks in the Bible. We all automatically think it's dreadlocks, but that's an East Indian custom. Smoking weed is an East Indian custom. We gravitate to all these other religions with these fake gods instead of the one true God that we have, the God of Israel and the God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We don't gravitate to him. We go to everywhere else, just like a whore does. And the Most High is jealous of that. He don't like that. So he punishes us for not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have something that we have to do in order for Christ to return. We got to get right. We got to get right. When the sky cracks and 200,000 angels come out, it's going to be too late. You ain't going to be able to change your ways at that point. So why not change now? Especially if you at my age, you didn't live, you already know what life's all about. You ain't had no luck your whole life. You've been in hell. You got so much trauma. You didn't smoke. How many blunts you going to smoke? How much weed can you smoke? How much coke can you do? But you just going to do it till you die? When you going to wake up and say, all right, you know what? I got to live for the Most High. I got to follow Christ now. And when you follow Christ, you don't halfway follow him. You don't do it sometimes. Try going a day. That's what I tell a Christian. Try going a day without sinning. And if you can do it, which you can, if you want to, if you put your mind to it, the greatest commandment, Christ says, follow the Most High with all your heart. I'm paraphrasing. All your heart. If you put your mind to it, you do not have to sin that day. So you don't have to sin at all. But the example I'm trying to say is, if you go one day without sinning, try that. This is for the Christians. Then the next day, try and make it 2 days without sinning. And then when you get past that, because you will, if you put your mind to it, try a week without sinning. Now, once you try a week, now you're going to see a change in yourself. You know what I mean? You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. You're going to put yourself, and you're going to be able to get knowledge because you ain't a sinner. You know what I mean? But when you're a sinner and you just want to sin and smoke weed and sleep around throw women away, you can't get none of this knowledge. This knowledge just go right over your head. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, this Christianity has a stronghold on our people where you can't even tell them nothing. You can't teach them nothing. And it's the majority of the world is Christians. So that's why we go at the Christians so hard, because at the end of the day, they still are brothers and sisters. The white man got them so destroyed. They didn't follow him. I mean, every holiday they got to celebrate it, just like Esau follows the holiday. You don't have to be like him. You shouldn't be like him. You know what I mean? We have our own way of life. We have our own culture. I know you don't know what it is because you think you're a filthy, stinking African, but you're not an African. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And we're not Africans. We Israelites. And we have a certain way that we need to live. So I'm gonna start out with a scripture. We're gonna start out with Ecclesiastes 12:6. We're gonna start out with that scripture. I think that's a good place we could start. Ecclesiastes 12:6. And it reads, "For the Most High hateth sinners." See that? See that right there? That right there, if you care anything about God, because Christians always love to say everybody say they love God. But if you're a Christian, you say you love God, for the Most High hateth sinners. So don't sit there and say you're a sinner. Because if you are a sinner and if you're sinning, he hates you. Now it's right there. I didn't make this up. It's right there. Ecclesiastes 12:6. And will repay vengeance unto the ungodly. So if you're ungodly, I mean you're a sinner, he's gonna get vengeance on you. Now you can't sit there and say, well, why is this happening to me? Or I don't understand what's going on here. I'm a good person. Something's always going on with me. I can't catch a break. Well, you're a sinner. And keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So you're going to get punished. It's just when, and you ain't going to see it coming. Most High send a punishment through here. You ain't going to see it coming. And punishments last a long time sometimes. You be sitting there thinking it's just one little thing. You get a flat tire and that's it. Nah, it'd be more. A whole bunch of stuff come down on you. It could be things that you damn near feel unbearable. especially once you get this truth and you still want to be a sinner. So we know right there, we'll start right there. We know that the Most High hates sinners. So now that should scare you. If you have any sense, if you have any care of the Most High, that should scare you right there and say, I'm a sinner, so I got to get right. So, all right, so then you got to get right. That means you got to try to become perfect like Christ said to be. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, be ye therefore perfect as your father is in heaven. So he ain't going to tell you to do something it can't be done. It's impossible. But I think one of the problems with Christianity, they teach that the Most High got Mary pregnant, which he would have. So you're saying the Most High committed adultery against Joseph, and they're saying that Joseph just came home one day and Mary said, I'm pregnant and it's God's baby. And he said, okay, it's God's baby. And that's it. If you come home and your rib says she's pregnant and she says it's God's baby, run. Get out of there. Okay? Because she's lying. Now, I'm not saying that Christ is our king. I'm not trying to be, but I'm just trying to tell you that's Joseph was Christ's father, was Yahushua father. So that's where Christianity it messes you up, because you say, well, Christ then y'all think he's God. So you say, well, he's God, so I can't be like him. You can't be like him because he wasn't God. He was a man just like me and you. I'm not saying just he was made like me and you. So you can be perfect like he commanded you to be perfect. So we're going to go to the next scripture. Slakia. Let's try this Deuteronomy. See what this says here. I didn't mark this. I apologize. 12 and 31. It reads, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 31. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God. Salakia. Wrong scripture. Salakia. All right, we're gonna go to Proverbs 6 and 16 through 19. This is basically, I'm going to talk about God hating you. All right, things that he hates, and you need to make sure you're not this type of person, because I don't know about you, but I don't want God to hate me in no way. I don't want nothing but blessings from the Most High. This is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. But Christians say the Lord Most High don't hate. Ye 7 are an abomination unto him. Good night. 7 are not an abomination. You don't want, that's an abomination, like disgusting. A proud look. Christian pastors always got that proud look to their face. Smiling, and you know what I mean? They got the suit on, and they always thinking like, being clean. And ain't nothing wrong with being clean cut or nothing like that. But, they use that, it's like a sheep and wolf's clothing. I mean, a wolf and sheep's clothing. It's like they use that to catch people. You know what I mean? It's just like fishing. Like, if anybody's a fisherman that's watching me, you might put on your hook something that's real flashy. That'll catch you fish with different bait. You know what I mean? So you might put something down there that glows, and every time you pull it, the tail might move like this, or it lights up different colors, weird colors that you ain't seen. The pastor's the same way. He's like a pimp. He got to be, he got to be seen. He got to be known. You know what I mean? He got to show off. You know what I mean? And women love that. They love for their pastor to be the flyest and to have women. They like that. They like for the pastor to be crooked and evil and not perfect. They don't have an example of perfect in the church. You know what I mean? There's no example, so they figure, hell, if the pastor, that's right, especially a wicked ass sister, and the brothers. But they say, shit, if the head of this church is a wicked nigga, shit, I guess I could be too. Yeah, because God knows my heart. He knows my heart, so we just all gonna be wicked. I mean, ain't nobody perfect, right? That's how they look at it. So they need a wicked ass pastor. They need a pastor to let certain shit slide, certain things slide, certain sins slide, and don't let them be accountable, make them accountable for what the hell they do in that church, what they say. The whole thing from the top down to the bottom is terrible. And it all needs a bulldozer should go through these churches. How you gonna have a black community and you got 10 churches in the damn community, and it's like more churches you got, the more wicked that community becomes, man. If you got 10 churches, because there's some community, we got some communities here in Pittsburgh that got 10 churches, 5, 8, 10 churches, and they wicked as hell. They go there to get their little medicine Sunday morning. And the sad part is there's some brothers and sisters who want to do right. This is the saddest part of it all. The wicked is the wicked. I get that. But there are people who genuinely want to go to these churches who think they are doing right and learning the right thing and doing the right thing. And they being led down a dead-end street with nowhere to turn around. It's like, damn. I mean, how could you do that to somebody as a pastor, especially the pastors that know we Israelites, that know all this type of stuff is going on, and you allow, LGBT in the church, adultery in the church, drugs, all kinds of things. That one church I seen there was grown weed in the, that was part of the church. I forget what wicked pastor that was. Some drug addict pastor, you know what I'm saying? They got pastors that got male pastors that got boyfriends. They like little boys, but they got actual husbands. Good. And with a congregation big as a goddamn stadium. And it's like they don't see nothing, it's no big deal. Well, I mean, it's like they don't give a damn what the Bible say. They're gonna do what they want to do, and it's like the more wicked you are, the more followers you get. So some people look at a church, they say, "Man, they got 2,000 members. They must be doing something right. I want to join that." I know sisters that go to church because they got a good choir. Oh, their choir, they tore it down, didn't they? What the hell is that going to do for you when you get out of the choir and your son is about to go to jail? Every time he got, he's on drugs. You're on drugs. All kinds of problems. You got a work husband. You got all kinds of shit you got going on, and you worried about the damn choir, man. Then you got women preachers. Good night. That's something Scripture say you ain't even supposed to be doing that. There ain't supposed to be no woman up there sitting on top of no man, telling no man what the hell to do, teaching him the Bible. We got priests for that. We got priests and prophets for that. We don't need no woman to tell us that. Now, the woman does play a good part, an excellent part, and if she plays her role, she's a beautiful. She can be a virtuous woman. We need that now in Israel. We need that, but we don't need no woman to teach us the Bible. Leave that to the ISUPK. You know what I mean? Not trying, but that's just the scripture. That's just the way it goes. So, but yeah, it's so out of control. It's sad. So we're gonna go to Proverbs 6, and we're gonna finish Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Ye 7 are an abomination: a proud look, a lying tongue. Somebody lying all the damn time, lying about. I know people lie just to be lying. What do they lie for? Make up stuff. I know people who make stuff up just to make themselves look good. You know what I mean? Just tell the truth. Why are you lying? Because they're worried about their reputation or whatever that, or they want to make a better reputation out of themselves. But a lying tongue, horrible. and hands that shed innocent blood. You know, people like that. You know what I mean? Always, you know, into something. Murderers, you know. And heart that devises wicked imaginations. You like, man, thinking of some ways that you could, you know, do things to people and, you know, to put harm on the people or to steal something, coming up with a plan, you know what I mean? Or imagining, so people have all kinds of things in their mind that they imagine. The Lord hate that. He don't like you to imaginate wicked stuff and devise, you know, a plan to do something. Feet that are swift in running to mischief. You know what I mean? You hear a gun. What was that noise? A gunshot? As soon as you hear the gunshot, you run to. Well, most people don't. Niggas don't do that. But that's probably a bad example. But maybe if there's a fight down on the corner, you run. I mean, you drop everything and run to that fight, just not to break it up. You run to the fight to egg it on. Yeah, it's good. You know, terrible. You egging the fight on, or maybe you put some more gasoline on the fire. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know, that's another thing that we do that the Lord hates. A false witness that speaketh lies. You know what I mean? Saying you seen something that you ain't see, get on the stand, tell a lie. You know what I mean? The white ladies do that all this. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. White men do that on you. Did that to Emmett Till. A lot of other brothers and sisters that's been locked up and killed. They put Emmett Till in that, and when he was about 14, 13, whatever, put him in an electric chair. They said he wasn't even big enough for the electric chair. They killed our brother like that, man. Put him in an electric chair, you know, about some looking at or whistling at some white woman. What the hell is she? He didn't even do it, but let's just say he did do it. So what? He's a kid. Leave him the hell alone. Lord hate that. You know what I mean? Salakia. Verse 19, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. That's another thing. You know, instigating. Or, bro, I heard such and such, don't say nothing, dude. That happens every day, especially at the slave. That happens every day. Yeah, she was talking stuff. He was talking stuff. Oh, hold up. I'm doing a class. Yeah.
I was just telling you.
All right. Yeah. And so that's another thing. And Salakia, this is my son, keep my father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother. So we're going to drop that and we're going to go to Proverbs 13. We go to Proverbs 13 and 21. Salakia. Salakia. I'm just going to put out this text. Salakia. All right, we're going to go to Proverbs 13 and 21. And it reads, there shall no evil happen to the just. Salakia, that's 12 and 30. Said 13 and 21. Evil pursueth sinners. So if you're a sinner, you're going to get evil's going to follow you. No matter what you do, you're going to always get, you know, basically there's going to be always some evil on your back, you know, waiting for the, you know, the Most High is going to always come down on you if you're a sinner. but to the righteous, good shall be repaid. So all you got to do is follow the law, statutes, and commandments. It sounds like to a Christian, it sounds hard, but once you get in this truth and learn this truth, it's not hard to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Half the stuff you already, if you half decent in the world, I said half decent. Now, I ain't half decent in the world. Most likely, a lot of this stuff you can do. It's no problem. It's no sweat, especially once you see your brothers and sisters. And the longer you're in the truth, the better you become at it. It's just like being a kid. You don't know all the rules at 1 year old, 2 years old, but you start as you grow in the truth, as you grow as a child when you're born, you learn. Salakia had some technical difficulties. Salakia. See something here. Good night. I'm just going to continue like this. Salakia. No background. We're going to freestyle it. That's all. Ain't no big deal. Get this truth out here. So, all right, we're going to go to, where was I at? It's Ecclesiasticus. No, we got Proverbs 13 and 21. Good night. All right, it says, evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. So it don't pay to be no sinner, because at the end of the day, evil's going to pursue you, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to be pursued by evil. It makes your life a living hell. You know what I mean? So we're going to go to let's skip down to Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. 7 and 26. And it reads, and I find it more bitter than death. Well, damn, what could be more bitter than death? You know what I mean? I mean, death is like as bitter as it comes. You know, you go to a funeral or whatever. No, yeah, it's more bitter. So it says, the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands. So she's setting all kinds of traps for you. She hates you. You can't get along with her. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape her. So if you're not a sinner, you can get away from that type of sister. You know what I mean? But that means you have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You got to follow Christ in order to escape her. There's just no other way. If not, if you don't follow Christ and you get a woman like this and you get rid of this woman, you're going to get another woman just the same way. Just because you ain't with that one, that don't mean the next one ain't going to give you a hard time. And this is really more than a hard time. We're talking about snares and nets, and her hands is bands. You know, that's, always trying to jam you up, jealous of you, like Steph Curry's wife, jealous of him, or Jada Pinkett Smith. Them women got so much. They got husbands that's so rich and can buy them anything in the world, but they still complain and still make a big deal out of every little thing publicly. Not just, they ain't just saying it to amongst themselves, keeping it in the house. They out in public running their damn mouth. That should never happen. Not to a brother. Brother then risk his life a lot of times for these sisters, and you think they got any respect for you? Hell no. They don't give a damn about that. Especially you didn't gave them everything. You didn't probably made their whole family rich. Money that Will Smith and them got, man. They didn't probably. The mom, the grandma, all the cousins probably got money. You know what I mean? And then how she repays you, she goes on the red table and talks about you like a dog. And they all get a bunch of bitter women to get around the table and talk about you like a dog. Because life didn't work out the way. Because they're not the superstar. They wanted to be the star. She wanted to be in the court shooting three-pointers, I guess. All she had to do was shut her mouth, be a wife to that man. You get in there, you probably driving every car that you ever could imagine. You know what I mean? All money is not an issue, but she's bitter. You know what I mean? It says, whoso pleaseth of God shall escape her. So you can escape her. You got to please the Most High. You got to follow Christ. But the sinner shall be taken by her. I see that happen every day. You know what I mean? The sinner can't get away from her no matter what. Like I say, even if you get away from her, there's going to be another woman just like that. You got to be able to follow the Most High so you can get out of any bad situation you in under Christ. If you follow what He told you to do, the Lord is going to get you out of it. He's not going. You're not going to suffer, but for so long. He's not going to let you suffer, but for so long, if you follow the law, statutes, and commandments. But if you're a sinner, Lord be with you at that point. You know what I mean? We're gonna skip down to 9 and 18. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 9, verse 18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. So if you're a wise person and you get wisdom from this ISUBK, it's better than any weapon. You know what I mean? Because one thing we know is brotherhood's a weapon. And with brotherhood, ain't no weapon. There's nothing that can break that. You know what I mean? But all it takes is one sinner. And it's like one bad apple spoils the bunch. That's what happens. One bad apple spoils the bunch. And now it ruins everything. That's why we don't really, and when we're together, unless somebody's interested in school or something, or we trying to get out to people and get the word out to people and let them know what their identity is and who their God is. Other than that, you really can't deal with a sinner. It's hard to. You know what I mean? We don't be around a bunch because it's just you don't have anything in common with them. I noticed that with me. Like as the time goes on, you being in the truth, you start losing everybody. And when I say losing people, I don't mean they all dying. I mean y'all ain't on the same accord with a lot of stuff. The smallest things, you just think different. And they don't. They think the same. They stay in that same mindset to the day they die. And it's like, what it does is creates like a wedge between you two. You still love a brother or sister, but you know what I mean? You don't live that life no more. So you don't have anything in common. You might better sit and watch. Even sitting and watching a football game, sometimes you don't have anything in common with people because what they want to do, smoke weed. So if you ain't gonna be around a bunch of people who smoke weed, if you ain't a sinner, you ain't gonna be around that. You ain't gonna want to be around. I hate the smell when I'm out my slave. It gets on my nerves. So you ain't gonna be one of now if they're just having a couple of drinks, but then you got to watch what you eat around them sinners because now they put pork in every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to worry. It's a mess. You got to worry about the weed. You got to worry about the food because there's crab and the macaroni and cheese. I don't know why they started that. There's bacon on every damn thing, and they cook the greens and pork. Now what? So now you can't be around them from the weed, and then the food is unclean, and then whose birthday is it? Is it a holiday? You'll get over to somebody's house. They say we having a get together. You get over there. Next thing you know, it's Uncle Ray Ray's birthday. They singing happy birthday before you even get out the damn door. You down there trying to. Next thing you know, they taking pictures. Now you at a birthday party. You done messed up. But that's how Christians are. They don't think like we think. You know what I mean? They think that life is just a damn game to them. You know what I mean? So, what is this, a birthday party? Big deal. You was born on a certain day. Get over it. You ain't no God. You know what I mean? You're not a God. You want everybody to bring you a gift on that day for what? You didn't do shit. Half of these Mother's Day, oh my God. I know I don't want to speak out of season because Mother's Day is a long way from now. But let's just say Christmas. Everybody celebrates Christmas. Now, what the hell did you do to get a gift? If it's supposedly Christ's birthday, what the hell are you getting a gift for? Why? Because it's nonsense. It's nonsense. But we follow white people. So what we going to do? You know what I mean? And when you tell somebody about it, they'll damn near fight you over it. All right, let's skip down to, let's go to Isaiah 65 and 20. And what I'm saying, too, you got to understand. One thing the UPK does with these silly ass Christians, they used to be able to say God, 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 I love God and all this. But see, the UPK, the brothers and sisters in the UPK, they make you prove that you love God. And that's what Christians hate. They don't want to be exposed. They don't want to be exposed that they are wicked as hell and they don't love God. They hate him. But they don't want you to say that. They don't want you to prove it and show them up. They just want to live in their own little bubble. And if they got to come back in hell after they died, then that's on them. Or they want to live a life of hell or sin, that's they figure, hey, everybody go through the same. Nah, you ain't got to go through half of the stuff you're going through. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you ain't gonna never go through nothing. The Lord put you through something to make you stronger a lot of times. But at least you know if you're going through something, you follow the law, statutes, commandments, and you going through something, at least you know it ain't because you sinning. It might just be to get you stronger, or could be a test. Most High will test you. You know what I mean? He'll put a situation in front of you, and he's going to see if you're going to deal with that situation righteously, because there's always a right way to deal with a situation. So, Slakia, we're going to go down to, we'll go to Isaiah. The phone won't unlock. Slakia. We're going to go to Isaiah. Mm, 65 and 20. Go to 65 and 20. And it reads, there shall be no more thence infant of days. Slakia, is that the right one? Yeah, Slakia. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. So basically, the sinner's gonna live a life of curse. Like he's gonna live a cursed life. He's gonna always have some stuff he got to deal with, and he's always gonna be a cursed person. But you know, a baby, not a baby, a regular righteous person will, you know, he'll live to 100. They both live to 100, but one lives a life of sin, the other one doesn't. And you'll be cursed for living that life of sin. Because you ever see a real wicked joker? He be like, damn, he lived 100 years old, was wicked as hell. That happens sometimes. You know what I mean? A wicked person will outlive you, but that don't, you don't know what's going on in their life. Sometimes they going through all kinds of stuff, but just because you outlive somebody as far as numbers, as age, that don't mean, you know, that don't mean nothing. You know, now don't get it twisted. I do, and we all should try to live a long life, but just because somebody is righteous and there's a wicked person, a lot of, like I've seen some wicked, the lady that lied on Emmett Till. I have to keep talking about that, but she lived till she's in her 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens. Like the Most High do that, but you don't know you don't know what's going to happen to her in her next life. She might be born blind. Who knows? You know what I mean? Slakia. So let's go to Slakia. Let's go to. Got a couple more I'm gonna go over. I like this one right here. This is heavy here. Matthew 9. This is Yahushua cutting the living hell out of the publicans. I mean, out of the Pharisees. 9 and 10. Matthew 9 and 10. Slakia. And it reads, and it came to pass as Yahushua sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. Verse 11. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? Verse 12. This is heavy. But when Yahushua heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So if you already a righteous person, you don't. I'm just going to use what he's saying as a metaphor, like he's using. If I ain't sick, I really don't need a doctor. You know what I mean? You don't. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to get a checkup and all that, but If I ain't sick, I ain't got to run to the emergency room. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? To my checkup. But if you are sick, that's when you need medicine and you need a doctor. You know what I'm saying? So Yahweh Shah said, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. Now, this is where the cut, this is where the cut comes. Verse 13, but go ye and learn that. Slaki, I got to say that again. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy. So he's basically said to him, now go figure that one out. Because he gave him a parable right here. And then the next verse, he said, well, now go figure that out. And he said, I'll have mercy. And then he said, and not sacrifice. For I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners in repentance. So he ain't come. The righteous people really don't, not to say you don't need Christ, but he come to save the sinners. And he told them, the Pharisees, look, go figure that out. He said, Slagia, verse 13, but go ye and learn what that meaneth. Good night. Verse 14, then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we do the Pharisees fast off? But says they were always trying to get, trip Christ up. He cut them bad on that one. And that was a heavy one. I laughed to myself on that one. But yeah, when you see us out and about on the corners, we ain't, the brothers and sisters in the school, we're really not there for them. They're already in the truth. We need to get people off, the weed, the way they think, sleeping with women, throwing them away, all kind of what they're eating, changing everything, who they worship. It ain't just Christianity. It's that rock too that they circle and kiss. Islam, that's another one that you got to get that out the minds of our people. That's the Arabs, God. Let the Arabs deal with them. It works great for Arabs. It don't work for us. You're going to do is sell a bean pie here and there and what? I don't know. You know what I mean? You ain't going to be all in their congregation with them. Like it ain't like I see the Arab and the blacks all mixed in these mosques and all that. You might see one or two, if that, I don't know. But it's just like the church. You don't see a bunch of white people in the Baptist church with the niggas. You see the Baptist nigga church, and then you see the white church. That's just how it goes. It's all you sitting in the back in every religion, you sitting in the back of the bus. You don't run a damn thing in Islam. You don't run a damn thing in the Roman Catholic Church. You don't run nothing. You're in the back of the bus, just trying to hold on to what you got and thinking you're doing right, trying to follow something that you already got a God. You don't need to be up under them. I don't know what it is with us where we got to be up under another nation of people. It just makes you sick. It makes me sick to my stomach. We got our own God. Why are we following somebody else's? Good night. So, and the good news is that we all can change. And I was a Christian at one time too. And that changed my life. I had to ask the Most High, even as a Christian, I asked the Most High, I said, what the hell? What am I even here? Like, what's the point of this? I'm supposed to just go to my slave every day, come home, and do the best you can, take care of your family, and then be wicked as hell, which I didn't know a lot of things I was doing was wicked, but, watch some football, watch some just sports and, weed or whatever you did and that's it. That's life. I didn't realize that my job was to actually be a priest and to fish my brothers and sisters out of this hell that we in. You know what I mean? Some people don't think this is a damn serious job. This is my actual job. And what I do for a living is just what I do to keep a roof and food in my family's mouth. But my job, and any priest's job, is to fish our people out of the world and into the truth. And it's happening. Sometimes it doesn't happen as fast as I or some other brothers may see it, but the Lord knows what he's doing. He's just because shit. I didn't think I would come this far. I didn't even think this was. I didn't even know nothing about the truth. So when my other one showed me the truth, I said, "Well, I ain't never heard nothing like that." And I took to it, but some people don't take to it, and that goes to basically don't force it on them, but you at least have to put it out there for people and let people show people that you can live a righteous life. You don't have to be a piece of garbage. And I hear some of these stories, brothers, even at my slave, and I just shake my head, and they think I'm the weirdo. I'm like, why would you do that to that sister? Why would you do that to that brother? Or why would you do these things? But they sick. They don't know they're Christians or Muslims. You know what I mean? They don't know no better. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about is basically, God does know your heart, but to be a sinner and say that God knows your heart, that's like, you playing games, because if you're a sinner, that's the heart you have. You have a sinful heart, and which is your mind. You have a sinful mind. So God does know that. You're right. Don't be a sinner and then talk about like basically dismiss it and say, well, God knows who I am. Hey, he does know. He knows you're a damn sinner. So I'm gonna finish class right there. The water for tuning in. It's the ISUPK under Commander General Hana. We teach the Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and the white man's the devil the Bible speaks of. And that's it for today. Shalom. Yep, end it. We're going to end it right there.